programs, we discussed how the Nigerian Air Force tried to cover up the killing of some children in Niger State. But this time, the incident took place in Sokoto State. And this is one too many killings. The special report in focus details how the incident occurred, the cover-up by the security officials, and the long battle to get justice. We'll be joined by Premium Times' reporter who worked on this report. On this show, Premium Times Half Hour, we'll discuss important issues. Premium Times is Nigeria's leading investigative and accountability platform, and we'll bring to you every show every week as part of our mandate of providing information you need to make informed decisions. The show spotlights exclusive reports produced by Premium Times reporters, from in-depth investigations, unique analysis to human angle stories. This is an audience-centered program, meaning you'll be able to call in later to share your opinion with us. And the phone numbers to call are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797, 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037, 081-8222-2205, again 081-8222-2205. But before we delve into today's report, I'll run you through some interesting reports that Premium Times published during the week. First, we published a special report titled, "In Some Southwest States of Nigeria, Primary Health Centers Prescribe Death." Shocking, right? These health centers are regarded as death traps because they lack adequate equipment. Pregnant women deliver on mats spread on the floor, and in worst cases, residents travel about 4 hours on water to access healthcare. We also published another special report titled, "In Nigeria, Food Hardship Worsens Due to Terrorism and Climate Change." This report indicated that insecurity and environmental degradation are forcibly displacing farmers. This leads to food scarcity and unprecedented food inflation. It's obvious that many factors can threaten food security, whether natural or unnatural. And this week, the report published talked about insecurity and climate change. Also, lastly, we published an analysis indicating that 4,000 prisoners are at large after a series of jailbreaks in Nigeria. The report also noted that of the 4,369 inmates who escaped from various prisons in Nigeria between January 2020 and December 2021, only 984 prison inmates were recaptured. You'll find this report on our website, www.premiumtimesng.com. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be joined by Cousin Suleiman, who traveled to Sokoto State to reveal the cover-up of the Nigerian Air Force after killing some residents in the state and the long road to justice for the families of the victims. Stay tuned.
This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Premium Times Half Hour, brought to you by Premium Times on Citizen FM 93.7. Before we are joined by Cousin Suleiman, Premium Times reporter who exposed how the Nigerian Air Force is covering up killings in a community in Sokoto State by its officers, let me provide some background to this report. In October 2019, at a tea point close to the popular Lukuwa Mosque in Sokoto State, some young men tried to seduce a young woman, but it led to a mild argument between the men and the woman. The woman left and returned to the spot with her lover, a Nigerian Air Force personnel who came with his colleagues. A scuffle ensued between the officers and the men were overpowered. They returned and brought a truckload of Air Force officers, and the men at the tea point fled. During the pursuit, some innocent residents who were not aware of the previous incidents were gunned down by the officers. And 3 years later, the families of the victims are yet to get justice for the death of their loved ones. Democracy Watch report, a report by the Center for Democracy and Development, said security agents killed at least 13,241 Nigerians between 2011 and 2021. Don't forget, you can call in to join the conversation on the following numbers: 090 32 22 97 97, 090 32 22 97 97, 080 82 22 20 37, again 080 82 22 20 37, and lastly 081 82 22 22 05, again 081 82 22 22 05. Kazim, thank you for joining us today. How are you feeling this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm actually fine.
All right. So, this report is particularly very interesting to me because, about a month ago, we discussed a similar issue where the Nigerian police force tried to cover up killings by its personnel. But before we go deep into your report, I want to know how you got to know about this report, basically.
So I followed the incident right from the time it happened, because incidentally I was in Sokoto at the time. And, extrajudicial killing by most of our security agencies is not a new thing. And most of the time, nothing like justice ever comes out of it. So since then, I tried to keep up with the, all the unfolding events, the state governments, Nigerian Air Force setting up committees. And while it looked nice, and many residents were even present for that swift action at the time, deep within me, I was a kind of skeptical. And that I wasn't sure anything concrete would come out of it. And sadly, it turned out I was right.
Wow. Okay, but can you narrate the reactions of the families when you were covering the report, or can you give like an additional information that occurred while you were on the field and this particular information did not make it to your report?
Talking about the family now, when I approached them, the families, they have actually given up. Like, they have been so disappointed that they don't trust anyone anymore.
As expected.
Yeah, so whenever anyone, approached them regarding the incidents, trying to, maybe as a human rights or as a journalist, they just believe you are doing it for some political point or something. So much that they do not even believe that they can get justice anymore. And unfortunately for me, when I approached them, I could not promise them that my report will certainly get them justice. They asked this question multiple times that, okay, if I cannot assure them of justice, what are they doing this for? But if I make that promise that, okay, yeah, you are certainly going to get justice, even when I know I cannot force the hands of the government, I will not be different from those that put them in that tragedy in the first place. And, the story in itself is even more about those unfulfilled promises. So even though I've been, in contact with the families for quite a while before I even went to do the story, and when I was, a week before I met them, I also tried to reach out to them that, okay, yes, I'll be coming for this. They were fine until I got there and I reached the family house and they started backtracking.
Wow.
That was...
So how were you able to convince them to talk?
Well, that took a while, honestly, and I will spend hours daily trying to convince them that, okay, you need to... Even if you can't get justice, this story needs to be out there because these things happen to a lot of people, and you need to put your own story out there for people to know how these things go.
For sake,
And, it took me more than a week before I was able to convince them.
Wow.
Yes, because initially I intended to finish all the interview in at most 3-4 days.
Oh, wow.
I ended up spending almost 14 days.
Oh, wow. So
it was really something. And funnily, at the end of the interview, one of the family members looked at me and was like, he would tell me something. At the end of this, or if the report is published, she wouldn't want any politician coming to their, to the family house with their burn regard, trying to, bring some journalists and discuss some political points again, because it's something that has happened before. So it's a really sad stuff.
Before we started the show, I made comments on how it's sad that these things are repetitive, and it feels like even the security officers are like, do your worst, we know that you're going to do this report and there's nothing really going to happen. And it's sad that I can understand on the end of the victims, the families, that they can't keep talking about these things when they know that it might not necessarily, like, nothing would eventually be done. Anyways, remember, this is an audience-centered program, meaning you can start calling us right away if you want to share your opinion on this report. The phone numbers to call are 090 32 22 97 97, 090 32 22 97 97, 080 82 22 20 37, 080 82 22 20 37, lastly 081 82 22 22 20 05. Again, 081 82 22 22 05. So quickly, I would like to ask you, Kozim, let's move to the cover-up aspect, where the Nigerian Air Force claimed the deaths were caused by a fracas between the officers and suspected Islamic movement of Nigerian youths. I mean, it felt convenient, rather, for them to do so, because at that period, the youths from that group were protesting. So how do the families of the dead feel about this attempted cover-up?
It's it's one of the saddest part of it for them, because during the interview, and we got to that part, because I had to ask them, okay, are you aware that so statement was released, and this is what that statement was saying? I saw people who are they are in a mood, like a grieving mood. They are sad, and I saw them move from being sad to getting angry, because they just stopped being sad at that point, and they were just angry, like saying things like, okay, this is even confirming their initial thoughts that this will just be covered up and they are not going to get justice. So it just made them believe that this will be swept under the carpet, like we always say.
So you mentioned anger. So what, in your own opinion, what do you mean? What do you think, rather, this anger translates to from the family?
I wish I can quote one of the family members. They were saying was that they know that there's no justice in this country. Like they keep stating that there's no justice in this country, and until they can get justice for their family members who were killed, then that's when they are going to believe that, okay, there's actually justice in this country. So they have lost so much hope in the whole justice system, or in anyone getting justice for them. And I think this is something that is quite dangerous for citizens to not trust the judicial system.
Very true. Thank you, Kozim. Dear listeners, you can call us now to weigh in. The phone numbers to call are 090 32 22 97 97, 090 32 22 97 97, 080 82 22 20 37, 080 82 22 20 37, 081 82 22 22 05. Again, 081 82 22 22 05. Also, tell us if you faced or you know someone who has experienced similar incidents with security officers. So, Kozim, Nigerians are hoping that there is a way forward from this devastating situation. Are you doing any follow-up on this report, and have there been new updates since the report was published?
Well, it's been radio silence, except for the family members and a couple of people that knows when it happened, that it kind of amplifying it. But from the government, it's been complete dead air.
Radio silence.
Completely. So the only hope right now is I am just hoping that it will at least, even if it's a little, it will at least spur them, try to find justice for these people.
So for me, also, aside the fact that it's frustrating, I feel like the report is basically to put in history that these are previous incidents that have taken place, and this is the, in quotes, action or inaction of the security officers to these issues. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we would like to hear your take on this report. Stay with us.
Stay at 11 a.m. This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Premium Times Half Hour brought to you by Premium Times on Citizen FM 93.7. We have been discussing a report on sufferings by Nigerians over extrajudicial killing of some citizens in Sokoto State and the cover up by the Nigerian Air Force. We have Cousin Suleiman in the studio. He's Premium Times' reporter who worked on the special report titled Years After Nigerian Air Force Officials Killed Two Innocents, Justice Remains Elusive. Please call us on the following numbers to have a say or ask a question: 090 32 22 97 97, 090 32 22 97 97, 080 82 22 20 37, 080 82 22 20 37, and lastly 081 82 22 22 05. Again, 081 82 22 22 05. Well, this is where we wrap up today's episode. But before we go, I would keep you up to date on some interesting reports that Premium Times published during the week. First, we published a special report titled In Some Southwest States of Nigeria, Primary Health Centers Prescribe Death. Again, I say shocking. These health centers are regarded as death traps because they lack adequate equipment. Pregnant women deliver on mats spread on the floor, and in some cases, residents travel about 4 hours on water to access health care. Basic needs, I mean. We also published another special report titled In Nigeria, Food hardship worsens due to terrorism and climate change. This report indicated that insecurity and environmental degradation are forcibly displacing farmers, and this leads to food scarcity and unprecedented food inflation. Lastly, we published an analysis showing how 4,000 prisoners remained at large after a series of jailbreaks in Nigeria. The report also noted that of the 4,369 inmates who escaped from various prisons in Nigeria between January 2020 and December 2021, only 984 inmates were recaptured. You will find this report on our website, www.premiumtimesng.com. Kazim, thank you for joining me today to discuss your very interesting report. And this is where we round off today's episode. I hope you had a fantastic time with us. And make sure you keep it a date with us on Premium Times Half Hour every Thursday at 11:05 a.m. on Citizen FM 93.7. Again, this show is brought to you by Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform which serves you every minute stories that can help you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. And for timely updates on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website, www.premiumtimesng.com, and follow us on all our social media platforms. God willing, I'll be here again with myself, and my other co-presenters. Have a great weekend.
11 a.m. This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m. This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m. This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m. This is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7 every Thursday at 11 a.m.